The tabletop takeaway.
Game mechanics on display.
Three designers share the stage.
Pick a genre and we'll play.
The tabletop takeaway.
Welcome back to the Tabletop Takeaway. I'm Ananda.
I'm Charlie McKieran.
And I'm Trevor Muller-Hagel.
And today we have a very special 100th episode.
Woo!
Yeah!
We've been doing this for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk?
Yeah.
But for our super special 100th episode, we have each come up with our top 10 takeaways from the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tabletop takeaways.
Yes.
Our takeaways from the tabletop takeaways.
Yeah.
Our top 10.
Yeah.
Basically the equivalent of a clip show from,
Yes, but maybe there will be some new insights, and in any case, it's all concentrated into one episode.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And honestly, like re-listening through some of these episodes, I've found new takeaways that I actually even said in the episode. Like, that was really good. Why didn't I say that as my takeaway?
Yeah. and I think I have a better understanding of some of the things that I put down.
Sure.
So,
Yeah. For me, it was like, in hindsight, just mostly looking at episode. I listened to some of them, but it was mostly just like thinking about, oh, that game, like what stuck with me from almost 2 years ago when we recorded.
yeah.
So
we actually don't know what we've each put down here.
Right.
So
Yep.
it's going to be a surprise for us. And we're sort of, I think we're all going down like from 10 to 1.
Yep,
sort of a
starting at the
countdown.
quote-unquote bottom, or for some of us it's at the top because they put it in the actual order they would be reading them in. I did not. I had just numbers.
But if there's an overlap for what game we're going to talk about, we'll just jump to that one so that we're not talking about the same game multiple different times.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess I can
Join
just,
us.
I'll
Ananda,
just
you
kick us
start us
off.
off. Yep.
Yeah, my
Number
10th
10.
Number 10
Coming in at number 10.
is from Factory Funner.
Oh, I thought about that one.
And my big takeaway from Factory Funner is that if you're making a hex-based game, you don't need to have hex-shaped tiles.
Yeah. I re-listened to that one a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's a really good takeaway.
So just as a quick reminder, in Factory Funner, you build a factory by placing pipes, and the pipes are basically connections between two sides of a hex, or more sides of a hex. And your pipes can overlap each other.
Which means that you can see other things that are underneath where you couldn't if it were a hex.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing that I find just really cool about this is that oftentimes in tile placement games, you have these tiles that are preset. They take up the whole space, and you just have to put them. But when you have just things that are shaped like the connections between tiles, you can fit, or you have a lot more freedom to design the layout however you want. And I've actually used this in my game Wriggle to represent worms, in which case you have the pieces actually moving around. It works super well. I also kind of want to use it to make mining or railroad games, because I think this...
Or like tracks?
Yeah. Like, I think it would work... Well, actually, I had one game that was a railroad game, and then I turned it into Wriggle. Okay. But, just representing tracks going across a board, it's really easy. Other ways that people have represented tracks are like drawing them with crayon, or...
Like
having yes, or cubes, or tiles. But I think these pieces that connect two sides of a hex, but don't fill up the whole hex, I think that has a lot of potential.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'll go next with my number 10 is Candyland.
Which is my honorable mention.
Ooh, okay. So... Candyland, my takeaway from it was how many takeaways we had in that episode.
From something that was supposed to be a joke.
Yeah, that was
and then we actually had real takeaways.
Yes, that was our April Fool's episode on
decisionless games.
Yeah. So, and yeah, you can listen to it for our takeaways, but yeah, there's a lot that you could actually learn from Candyland. in terms of graphic design, just using colors instead of
Yeah.
numbers.
That one is huge. Just removing the need to do math.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the big thing that we came to was removing cognitive load wherever you can, getting everything distilled down to a very simple thing so that you have more room to play.
Yeah.
And that I thought was a really important part of that kind of discovery for me.
Yeah.
While we're talking about Candyland, it's like, yeah, you don't have to spend any energy for Candyland. You flip over a thing and you go there.
Yeah.
And then you did it.
Yes. I mean, that is a good point. My design process these days, I am very, very focused on how much effort it is for people to play my game, because
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most impactful factors influencing how good a game feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just having it feel even cleaner, right? Like if you can remove some of that side busyness and just like, okay, you know, like we're talking about a little bit, we'll get into this probably later, I don't know, drafting games, how like instead of having a market where you're spending money on things, just choose one, draft it. Like don't have all these extra cognitive thoughts or like do this and this and this and then you get the reward.
Yeah.
Just get the reward. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be said for freeing up some of that space.
Yeah.
Simplify,
Yeah.
simplify.
But maybe not all the way down to Candyland. Maybe a step or two
Yeah.
up from Candyland. But
Well, tied into that, what I've been thinking about lately is on the table rules versus off the table rules. And I like if there is a way to show the rule by graphic design, then it makes it all easier. Because it's this is
yeah.
obvious. This color matches here. This color matches here.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're a pro.
Yep.
Sorry.
I've been thinking about that with my game Ring-Yo.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of the actions are very natural. It's like, I can cut this tree because it's right there when I place my worker. But then there's a few actions we have that are, I think of as off the board. It's like things you could do,
But you have to
don't
know-
think about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, trying to minimize those is good.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, so I was just playing a campaign game earlier, and I won't say the name of it, but we were having a hard time because it was so much in the book rules instead of on the table rules.
Yeah.
And so having to constantly refer to this 50, 60-page rule book, finding all the little unique intricacies, it gets exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah. The absolute ideal is just that players understand how the game works
Yeah.
just by looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or have a very simple reference that they can refer to just to jog their memory.
Actually, Charlie, I remember there was that one activity we did at that one convention where we had to make a game specifically that people could understand how to play without the rules.
Yeah.
And I remember one team did a really good job because their game they had like a car, and there was a track, and there were point numbers, and then there were pedestrians you could knock over, and if you knocked over a pedestrian, it uncovered a negative point.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, yeah, I have to push the car down
Yeah.
the track and not hit the pedestrians.
Yeah. Genius.
Yeah.
So for my episode number 10, or the 10th in my list, is going to be our Galaxy Trucker episode.
Ooh.
Because having fun while failing is a really important lesson. If you can work that into games, no matter what game it is, like being able to show something exploding because like, oh, this thing happened. Oops.
Guess what, Trevor? That's my number 9. Also, it's my exact same takeaway.
Oh my
A
God.
game where losing is fun.
Yeah.
That is really important, and it can be hard to do. I think having creativity in the game helps a lot.
Yeah.
Because if people can express their creativity, it's not so bad when they lose. But the framing also matters a lot.
Yeah.
I think, like Galaxy Trucker says, everyone wins.
Right. As
So-
long as you made money,
As long as you made
win.
money. Yeah.
The other part, though, for me was that it also is a blend of both real time and then it turns into turn based. And I really kind of like that, having both of those smashed in the same game, because you have that frantic, like building the thing, and then it suddenly goes into kind of almost like a programming engine where you just run the game via turns, and sometimes you can activate things and stuff like that. But I thought that was really interesting because I've been looking more into some real time games for my games. And so it just kind of provided some now inspiration, even though I wasn't thinking real time back when we recorded that episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's neat being able to revisit these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have Galaxy Trucker as one of my 10, but while I was thinking of my 10, I did have one from Galaxy Trucker that almost
Made the cut.
Almost made the cut.
Okay.
Which was just the technique of layering complex mechanics or a complex puzzle on top of a simple puzzle.
Oh, sure.
Like in Galaxy Trucker, you have the puzzle of putting your ship together with connecting the pipes so that you don't have exposed connectors and so that your ship is structurally sound. And then on top of that is layered the more complicated puzzle of all the different parts.
Where do you put this thing versus this
Right.
piece?
And
where do the shields go?
Right, and new players don't need to think as much about the more complicated puzzle because they can
Right.
just focus on the simple puzzle. So this gets back to side effects, but basically that's a way to manage complexity. Is just make sure you have a simple puzzle underneath that new players can engage with.
Absolutely, yeah.
And to tag on to Trevor's takeaway with my takeaway, I think also it's really fun when everyone is impacted by the same thing, but in different ways. So, like in Galaxy Trucker, everyone gets hit by meteors, but it might affect your ship differently.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, because then everyone like can kind of laugh about it versus like, oh, just this one player got hit. Yeah, actually, you can laugh about that too in that game.
Galaxy Trucker makes it easier to laugh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. That's a great
So,
one.
yeah, so that's our number 10s.
All right,
Number 9.
Number 9s. Okay, so my number 9 is from Space Base.
Oh, okay.
And specifically, so in Space Base, there is a mechanic. First of all, Space Base was, of course, part of our probability farming series. And one of the key parts of probability farming is that you get to do stuff during other people's turns. And getting to do stuff during other people's turns is incredibly helpful for designing games. That was something that really made a huge difference in Sprocket Forge, my game Sprocket Forge.
Yeah.
It is the follow actions. But the thing about getting to do stuff during other people's turn is there's a limited amount of stuff that you can do relative to the active player. Because first of all, active player, you want their actions to feel better than the other players because it's their turn. So they should be getting more than the other players are. And any follow or passive actions also need to be something that can be asynchronous. It can't be something where you have to wait for other people to do something. You have to be able to just do it while the active player is taking their turn.
Sure.
And so that drastically limits the scope of mechanics that you can allow as follow actions. But Space Base solves this problem because in Space Base, you have actions that you can charge up when it's not your turn by placing charge cubes on them. And then when it is your turn, you can use the action. So you can have anything you want, any of these super cool active effects that only work on your turn because they are not asynchronous. They're not, what's the word? Asynchronous compatible, I guess.
Oh, sure.
You have to do them in order.
Yeah.
But you can have the best of both worlds, right? You can charge these up passively, and then you feel like you're getting something cool because every time you put a charge cube, you're like, oh, I'm getting closer and closer to using this awesome ability. And then you also get to use the awesome ability actively.
Right.
So Space Base basically provides us with a way that we can turn anything into a passive ability that you can enjoy during other people's turns, which I think is super cool and super useful.
Nice.
And I sort of do this in Sprocket Forge, where when it's not the production action in Sprocket Forge is not asynchronous. But you're resolving all of your gears, and some of the gear production actions cannot be done asynchronously. But when it's not your turn, you can rotate your gears as a follow action to set up your next produce.
Oh, sure.
So I just think that's a super cool pattern that you can apply to any game to make anything into a follow action.
Interesting.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Great. So since Charlie teamed up with me on the 9 and 10, my 9 is going to be Captain Sonar. My biggest takeaway now from that is being able, if you're having a real-time game, especially with a lot of moving parts, is having breaks in that real-time action. So during Captain Sonar, you come up and everything pauses, I think, when you do an attack. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know that there's this big pause, and that gives everyone a chance to, like, not be going for a few seconds, and then you go back to the action. And so having that kind of pacing, I think, is really important for real-time games.
Yeah.
Charlie's
Trevor,
smiling at
are
me.
you just peeking at my sheet? That's literally my number 8.
Oh
and
my
it's
God.
Literally the
Wow.
same takeaway again.
Wow, Trevor.
What the heck?
And so Candyland was actually at my very bottom as my 11th one. So technically, Charlie and I have matched 1-1.
What a thief.
We are the same brain. Yeah, that was literally
Okay,
my thing.
the next one's fine. We'll go on the
Okay.
next one. I just checked it.
Yeah, so I agree. Yeah, that was the coming up for air during a real time game, and literally in Captain Sonar you have to come up for air.
And that like lets you reset things and like kind of do a moment.
To me, it feels like anything that's real time, like maybe up to max 3 to 4 minutes. You're doing a real time thing, and then like have a break. It's whether that's like in Skyrockets, we basically all of those missions are very short.
Yep.
So we got away with the whole. You play the whole thing and then play another one.
Yeah.
But
the break is also great for progression, because I remember when we did our couch co-op series, the co-op games or couch multiplayer, whatever it was.
Yeah.
The co-op games do have that break in between rounds where you can upgrade.
Yeah. Yep.
Like
Unrailed.
Unrailed and Played Up.
Played Up. Yep.
In Unrailed, you add cars to your train, and in Played Up, you add new appliances to your restaurant.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a similar thing, right?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like a break to recharge and sort of assess for the next round.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's just a lot of those that are just very scrambly for way too long.
Magic Maze also. Magic Maze, you had to... time was actually a resource.
Yeah.
When you were taking a break to talk, you're taking a break, but the time was still ticking down.
Yeah.
Which made it feel a little bit different.
A little bit rushed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry I keep stealing yours, Charlie.
that's okay.
Okay. So my number 8. My number 8 is from The Great Zimbabwe. And my big takeaway from The Great Zimbabwe is that in games where players have very different powers, even heavily asymmetric powers, let them choose their powers during the game, as opposed to assigning them at the start, with some limits.
Yeah.
This actually helped me a lot. This idea helped me a lot with Junkernauts, my game about robots fighting each other.
Yeah.
Because I've introduced an upgrade system where you start with 5 upgrade cards, and then during the game, at any time during or on your turns, you can play any number of your upgrades, but you can only have a maximum of 3 out for the whole game. And once those 3 are out, that's it. The other 2 stay in your hand and don't get used. So you could put them all out immediately, but that's not necessarily the best idea. Much like how in The Great Zimbabwe, you can choose your god immediately for its power, but that's not always the best idea, because that locks you into a specific course of action.
And then someone may disrupt your plan by placing somewhere that is, where you wanted to go originally for that god power. Yeah.
But I think having players choose super unique powers during the game does a couple of really important things. I think it teaches players to value holding their options open, value optionality, being able to change things versus locking things in. I think that's a cool decision to make. And I think it can sometimes make the game simpler, because powers only come online when they're useful. Like in Junkernauts, when somebody plays an upgrade, I've designed the upgrade so you only play them right before you're going to use them, which sort of shines a spotlight on it and highlights it, so the opponent is made aware of its existence and understands what it does because it was just used against them.
Sure. Yeah. All right, so then for my 8th choice, I went with Nemesis, which is a semi-co-op game. Ananda's just
No, I was
Okay.
I was expecting Charlie.
No, it didn't make the cut though. I did enjoy that one.
yeah.
I listened back to that one maybe a couple times.
Yeah. It's really
reference.
good. You know, I really enjoyed it, especially for a semi-co-op game, because I feel like the biggest thing about semi-co-op is not knowing for sure who to trust. Like, that's a really big part of it, especially if there is, like, a betrayal aspect. You know, like, betrayal at House on the Hill, you don't really have that because the first part of the game, there is no betrayer. This, someone has the capacity possibly to backstab someone, like a specific player, or, you know, cause something bad to happen to the whole team, and you're kind of just watching everyone the entire time. And I think it's kind of a fun little social deduction element, but in a much more tactical game than social deduction games. So I think it's got a lot of fun stuff happening, and then also there's just chaos that can happen, and you could just suddenly die.
Yeah.
Like, or someone could put you, just kill you while you're on a chair. That's fine.
Yeah.
I was fine with that, Charlie. I didn't remember that all this time.
Oh yeah.
I remember that I really liked the damage system for the monsters in Nemesis.
Yeah.
Where you dealt damage, but then they draw a card to find out how many hit points they have for that attack.
Yeah.
So they might survive the attack, but then on the next attack, of course, it's harder for them to survive because they have more damage.
Right.
But you're never entirely sure how much damage is going to kill them.
Yeah. It's not like they have 10 hit points and then you have to wean down their hit points.
Yeah.
It's like now they have 7. So it had 4 before when you attacked them, and now they have 7.
It works really well because, like, it feels like an unknown monster where you can tell that they're hurt, but you're not sure actually how hurt they are.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more like a video game, right? Because you know
Yeah.
a little bit more like how good your gun is at shooting or whatever, but you don't know.
It's like a video game where they don't show you the health bars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Or perhaps like an RPG encounter
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
where the GM doesn't tell you how many hit points the goblin has left.
Yep.
Yeah.
One extra piece to Nemesis, really quick, is that I also really enjoyed that there's no direct way for a player to inflict damage to another player. You can't shoot another player.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was really good to have because then you don't have direct confrontation.
Although you can
Shoot them out the airlock.
you can shoot them out the airlock. Yeah.
Different kind of shooting, but yeah.
Yeah.
Space them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
That's good.
space.
But yeah, just back to your original takeaway of I think that Nemesis card system with your goals is like the best I've seen for a semi-co-op setup, where it's like, well,
So simple,
first
too.
you have 4 options, then you have to discard one of those cards, so you only have 2 options left, and now it's like,
Okay.
all right, now I have to betray or
Am I
help
going to
the
kill
team.
Charlie? I don't
Yeah.
think I should kill Charlie. Actually, my target was Ananda, which I'm like, I don't think I should target Ananda.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, my 7.
Oh, what?
Wait, are we on?
Oh,
did you do
I
yours?
haven't done my...
We're at 8 right now with
We're at
Ananda.
8.
Okay, I kept getting skipped.
Yeah,
So,
sorry, Charlie.
go
He's
for
so
it.
excited.
Okay, so my number 7 is Dread. And specifically, the thing I find cool about Dread is the Jenga tower is kind of a random resolution mechanic, right? I mean, like, strictly speaking, it's not like you really control when it falls. I mean, but it feels like you do. It feels like you do way more than a dice-based system does. With the dice, you know, you're fully aware that it's just the luck of the roll, which can make results feel somewhat arbitrary, although it doesn't generally matter that much. But with Dread, you do feel like you are in control of your destiny.
Sure.
It's a very different feeling. Even it's a great way of framing the randomness because you feel like you're in control. And this inspired me to make my own RPG, Hypothesis, which is sort of the reverse Dread. It's based around Hangman, and you resolve things by guessing letters on a Hangman board to see if you succeed or fail stuff.
Oh, my God.
And
It's really fun listening back to our episodes because I did just listen back to our RPG one. And I was like, in the time that we recorded that and you had that Hangman idea, you fleshed it out, we tested it, and it was great. like I think maybe my favorite RPG.
Thank
So
you, Charlie.
yeah, I hope someone publishes that.
I mean, I might just self-publish it on itch or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it
I
like
hear that's what people do.
is it a one-page RPG or is it like multiple?
It could be. I haven't finished writing the rules yet.
Okay, 'cause
It might be more than one page.
There's a big following for like one-page RPG
Okay.
thing. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like a whole. It used to be a big thing on Twitter back in the day.
Can you
when
have
I was
like a
on that.
one-page version of the RPG?
Probably, or like even like 3 pages, or like zine. I think is the next level up from one page.
Okay.
So having a zine level.
Yeah.
So not to piggyback on that really quick,
Oh,
but
piggyback on it.
technically,
But do it.
Yeah, do it.
technically, Dread I have as my number 1.
Oh, we hit
But
his number
no,
one. No,
sorry.
do it.
But
Sorry,
it's
Trevor.
Dread and the RPG overview. So like it was both of them, but it was because almost the exact same reason as Ananda, I was inspired to make my own RPG after doing those episodes.
Nice.
And I can't remember if you said it or if I said it. I couldn't find it in the episode, and it might have been in between episodes too. But we talked about bag building in like just part of a conversation we had.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I have now actually made a cooperative bag building RPG system that I really like.
Okay.
Sweet.
I've
do
tested
that.
it twice in the
Awesome.
past like 2 weeks.
That's
so,
awesome.
yeah, I think that was probably a very successful series we did for us,
I
at
think
least
so.
personally.
Yeah.
I'm very curious too, like if people out there made games based on episodes we talked about,
or if you
at one
disagreed
point-
with us, or like, hey, that's not
Yeah.
right. I think it should be like this, and then you made your own game based on
Yeah.
that. That's awesome.
I don't know how many people ever did the challenges. We kind of dropped off
I did
doing
drop
the
off with
challenges,
that.
but that's okay.
Yeah. Whoops. Sorry, everyone.
But in your head, you feel free to still post in the Discord if you
yeah.
made a game off of something.
You can challenge yourself.
Oh yeah. And if you want, just send me a message and I'll challenge you. That's Trevor, by the
personal
way.
Trevor challenge. I like it.
I have a spreadsheet that can make challenges, so
Yeah.
anytime I'll just run that, and
Should we-
there you go.
Well, did you ever plug our email address? I don't know. The tabletop takeaway
At Gmail?
gmail.com. That's
Yeah. I don't
mostly
think we
Trevor
ever have.
is running that. So.
Yeah. So if you just throw us an email, I'll respond to it and
Yeah.
send you a challenge.
Sweet.
Right.
Just watch if I get like 30 requests in the next like week.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. Feel free
Yeah.
to do it. Feel free to do
Yep.
it.
All right. Charlie, you're
Yeah, my
number
7. Okay, this was a game that I didn't think I would enjoy actually as much as we did, but it's also semi-cooperative. Galapagos.
I almost chose Galapagos too.
Yeah, so that was. I've listened back to that semi-co-op series a bunch because I still think it is one of the hardest types of games to design. So Galapagos, basically, I thought the way that the weapons and items that you get work is really smart. That was kind of, a lot of us had that kind of takeaway where, I get something that's helpful for the group, like a saw that can cut some logs.
Oh
to
yeah,
make-
like a tool.
yeah, a tool, something that's helpful versus like you get a gun. And then it's like, oh, wait, maybe this is how I win.
But I need bullets.
Yeah, but I need the bullets. Yeah. So that I thought, and the other piece of it, the actions were very simple, which I think was actually good for that kind of a game where it's like, oh, I'm just going out and fishing. But each of the actions was a little bit different of a thing.
Well, and it was variable on success based on the weather too, which I thought was a really cool mechanic. Like with water collection.
Oh, yeah.
If you're collecting water when it's dry out, you can't collect much water.
Yeah.
So like it's actually more valuable in different times, and you don't know when that'll be necessarily, which I thought was really neat.
Cool.
But
Trevor, number 7.
so now I'm going to steal Ananda's 6. Then this is the one I knew about. Food chain magnet.
Oh no, that's a different
that's-
one you're stealing.
Oh, I see.
You're still stealing it, but that's
I'm still
fine.
stealing. Okay, great. So Food Chain Magnate, if everyone remembers, is one of our programming games. And my favorite part was having all of the milestones available the entire time, and then you can adapt your strategy, very similar to what Ananda was saying actually with the Great Zimbabwe. You can adapt your strategy as those options are removed, and you can kind of find your way forward with what you need to react to. So you don't end up with this like, well, I got that ability when I drew my hand at the very beginning of the game, but I never used it. It's like, oh no, you actually are doing things to progress that kind of line of character. And yeah, I thought it was a really great game too. I really enjoyed it and took a lot from it.
Yeah. I also have a Food Chain Magnate takeaway. It's my number 3.
Oh,
actually.
I see. It is your actual number 3.
Yeah, it's my number 3, which is that you can use exceptions to teach rules. Because
yes. Yep.
in Food Chain Magnate, there are a bunch of milestones that illustrate a rule that people might forget, especially when it comes to trainers. Like, first to pay $15 in salary. That's wrong. First to pay $20 in salary, you can use multiple trainers on the same person.
Right.
And first to pay a salary, I think, is you get a $15 discount on your salaries. And this is really useful just for teaching people the rules. And I use this in Junkernauts because a bunch of my bots in Junkernauts illustrate some rule that people might forget. For example, bots can only move orthogonally. So there's a bot that can move diagonally. Then people look at that and say, oh, it can move diagonally. That must mean that the other bots can only move orthogonally.
Right.
Or like the Doomba can't be counterattacked. And people look at that and say, oh, what's a counterattack? Wait, you mean when you attack me, I get to attack you back?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
That's good. Yeah.
It creates those questions like when you're like, oh, does that mean? Yeah.
I've been
Then you
cheating
want to
this
look it
whole
up.
time.
Yeah.
I think it's really good to look at the rules that your players are forgetting and then turn those into abilities, and then players won't forget about them.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. I remember you now talking about that, and that was a great part of that game too.
Yeah. Let's see, I guess we're on number 6 now. My number 6 is Spirit Island. I'm guessing that
Of
means
course,
Trevor,
you
you
put
have
that on there.
My number 2.
That's your number 2.
Oh, nice.
But it was also co-op overview as well.
Okay, all right.
So it was
there's
both.
some overlap.
Yeah.
So in a lot of co-op games, one of the first things, designing co-op games, one of the first things people will ask you about is how do you prevent the quarterbacking problem?
Yes.
And some people say, well, that's a group problem and not a design problem.
Yeah, ignore that and you'll be fine.
I tend to think it's a design problem. And I think Spirit Island solves it, but not in the way that a lot of people assume.
Right.
A lot of people say Spirit Island is so complicated that you can't quarterback.
Right.
I don't think that's the case. My big takeaway from Spirit Island, and from our co-op series in general, also from Marvel Champions, was it? Is that if you want to avoid quarterbacking in your co-op game and you don't have an information economy, what you need to do is give each player a private puzzle and then have everyone also have a public puzzle.
Yep.
And I think what Spirit Island does really well, and complexity might play a part, but I think the more important part is the way that it frames the puzzles. Like, you've got your board. You are responsible for your board. Your spirit has its own mechanical puzzle to solve in order to do whatever it is your spirit likes to do. And that is your private puzzle. And then you have the public puzzle of let's generate enough fear so that we send the invaders home. And if you frame your game correctly so that players, so that it's obvious to players what is their personal puzzle and what is the common puzzle, players will not quarterback.
Right.
And that's my big takeaway from Spirit Island.
So mine is very, 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 very similar, especially with the public versus private puzzle, which was Ananda's takeaway that I was borrowing. But honestly, like, I've worked on several co-op games since that episode, and I always try to keep that in my mind whenever I'm working on a co-op game. Like, what is the main thing in the center? What is the private thing the person's working on to help with the center? And, like, trying to find that kind of balance and, I think it's a great thing to use for co-op games, along with each person having some element of asymmetricality, because you also want to be able to grant some of that asymmetry to another player.
Yeah.
Which is from Cosmic Encounter, which is why I wanted to keep that in the overview too. Because, like, being able to grant a portion of your power to someone else is a huge benefit. Which I think Spirit Island does too with the cards, right?
Yes. Lots of spirits have abilities that give a portion of your power to another player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah. Number six
Number
for
six.
me. I kind of did a combo of two games here, but I'm combining chess and Mechs versus Minions.
Whoa.
In that,
Those are two different things.
yeah, there are two different series, but the idea that we came across in those is having things you have to destroy that are only one hit kill.
Oh, yeah.
And that to me it unlocked something I realized that about tactical combat games. I think I enjoy ones more where it's like you kill something and it's gone versus like having to chase someone around the board
Yeah.
with a lot of hit points.
Yeah.
So
Hit just a hit point. Normal hit points where they just change a little bit and nothing happens. Not
engaging.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also have a. I also
we
have
finally
a chess.
overlapped.
Yes.
Chess.
Yes. So
chess.
I had a chess takeaway.
Nice.
It is a little bit similar to yours, but somewhat of a different focus. My takeaway from chess is for tactical combat games, move one unit at a time and have impactful attacks. So it sounds like you're focusing on the one hit kills. One hit kills are definitely impactful, but I think attacks can be impactful in other ways too. The important thing is to avoid like that thing where it's just chipping away at hit points, which is not engaging. And so in Junkernauts, I took inspiration from this. I, of course, in Junkernauts, you move your robots one bot at a time. And also, when you attack in Junkernauts, something always happens even if you miss. So, like, whenever you deal damage, your opponent has to remove parts from their robot. So they'll remove at least one part if you deal any damage. But even when you miss, a miss is called a recoil. And when you recoil, you get to move your bot. So you miss, but you get to move.
Yeah.
And tactical positioning is incredibly important in Junkernauts. So
The chairs.
yeah, so there are times when you actually want to miss, and in fact, there are even upgrades that let you turn a hit into a miss. So yeah, I think my big takeaway from chess: move one unit at a time, rather than your whole army, and have something always happen when you attack, something impactful and meaningful.
Yeah, every turn then becomes super tense. Like your decisions are spread out among a lot of pieces, but you really have to decide, which. Yeah, I mean, I am addicted to chess and had to stop, and so now I just watch YouTubers playing chess. So, but it's even fun to watch because you're thinking ahead, like, what decision would I make on this turn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess the one other thing is with moving one unit at a time is that there is some distinction between moving one unit at a time in a system where you get to move each unit once, such as in Mage Wars or in Junkernauts, or systems where you can move the same unit again and again and again and again, instead of splitting it up between different units, like in Heroescape or in The Ratch's Den or in chess. And I think it would be fun to make a game that does the latter, where you can just move the same unit again and again.
Yeah.
But I haven't done that yet.
But interestingly, some advice with chess is to not move the same piece twice at the beginning of the game, it's a strategy thing. But I think that's actually kind of a cool game design thing that evolved because if you had a piece that was super powered, you'd want to keep using it over and over.
Right.
But that would be a boring game. So
it's also the ability to move the same piece because, I mean, you might not actually move the same piece,
right?
But if for example you're playing chess and when you move your rook it exhausts and can't move again until like the next however many turns or something, that would be very different. You wouldn't be able to have your pieces protect each other the way they do. I think it's more the threat of being able to move any piece on your turn.
Yeah.
Even if you don't actually do it.
Yeah.
So for my number 6, I went with the probability farming overview episode, or the bonus episode. And I was working at the time on my own probability farming game themed around my RPG World Manifest, which was before the RPG I talked about earlier. That one I've been working on for like 20 years. I don't even know, 12, 13 years. And I really loved the ideas around like looking at input versus output randomness and how that applies to all these different games. Looking at when you're getting resources for the numbers that are being rolled or drawn, whatever they are, getting more when it's your turn, kind of like the leader follower example, but also being able to strategize around the follow aspect and see what you can actually manipulate with that. I think it's just there's a lot of good things from that have really helped my probability farming games, though I kind of ignored half of them and I came out with a not great game. So I have to revisit it and kind of revamp it and okay, now I need to actually listen to what we talked about and apply them.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of really interesting things, and I obviously always want to make things into more of an RPG anyway. So I want to make a character with stats, and I need to take that advice from Candyland and simplify it back down to its core, and then find the fun that way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's really fun playing with probability farming, and I'm still surprised there's not more out there that use that mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 It's very satisfying.
Yeah.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5?
Yeah.
Number 5 is alive.
Okay. Well, my number 5 is from Dominion.
Oh,
I thought about
Did
it.
I?
classic. No,
Yeah?
I didn't.
I
put
did
it
not
on
do
there.
Dominion.
Okay,
I
all right.
almost did as well.
All right.
I'm I should do a deck build.
Not stepping on anyone's toes. So, my big takeaway in Dominion. So the big lesson, the biggest lesson I think everyone learns when they first encounter deck building games, is that sometimes getting rid of cards is good.
Yeah.
In fact, quite often it's very good, because of how things are set up. And I think what this led me to realize more broadly is that getting rid of bad things in games is often more satisfying than gaining good things. So I've applied this in my own games. Like in Sprocket Forge, one of the big mechanics is that your factory generates waste, and you have to get rid of it, and you can recycle other people's waste, and that feels good because they lose the waste and you gain a resource. And, I've seen this in other games like in Bonanza. But just in general, it feels really good to get rid of bad stuff. And it feels even better, actually, when you can turn something bad into something good. As a player, you really feel like you're getting one over on the game. Like, for example, in a deck builder, if there's a card that says, you can trash one of the cards in your hand to do this cool thing. And you're like, okay, I'm going to trash this awful, awful curse card in my hand to do this cool, cool thing.
Yeah.
I'm cheating the system.
Yeah.
Because you're not really cheating the system, but it feels like you are, and that's what's important. So getting rid of bad things can feel more satisfying than gaining good things.
Especially if it powers a good thing.
Yeah.
Then you feel like you've won everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like it.
Another example, Heat. The racing game Heat, where you get rid of heat from your engine.
Yeah.
That feels super good.
Yeah.
Because that's more of a deck shedding game almost, but
Yeah.
it's not really.
Well, we owe a lot to Dominion.
We
too,
owe a
because
lot to Dominion.
That was the game that inspired this podcast.
While we were at 2DCon 2 years ago.
Yeah. You and Ananda started talking about Dominion, and
Yep.
then I don't know what was the trigger for hey, we could do a podcast. Or...
Well,
There were like two or three people.
I think that was before, actually. I think I was thinking it would be fun to do a podcast, and then let's try this out with Dominion.
Yeah, I think... Well, I thought it would just be a fun thing to do. And then I think you said, that would be actually a really interesting podcast format.
Yeah,
I don't remember chicken and egg there.
Yeah, I don't remember which came first.
But Dominion was the first thing we ever did it with. I think we sat there for an hour at least talking about
Yeah.
Dominion. And just doing a very deep dive into it.
Takeaways.
Yeah.
Dominion. Yeah.
Oh, Dominion.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. My number 5 is one of the video games that you didn't mention,
Oh.
Ultimate Chicken Horse.
Yeah.
Oh.
But similar vein.
It's not a
where-
co-op. That's why I didn't mention it.
Yeah, but actually, the reason I picked it is because it has a cooperative phase in it.
Oh, true.
Because
There's this, yeah.
that was the eye-opening thing for me of oh wait, we are sort of cooperating, even though it's a competitive game.
You have to get to the end somehow.
Yeah, and it made me realize oh, you can have a straight up cooperative element in a game and a competitive game if they're just in totally different phases and they don't necessarily like determine your standing in, I guess, in the, because like Ultimate Chicken Horse, you are sort of cooperating to make a path across the valley. And yeah, maybe some people are using that phase more competitively than others, but
I'm realizing also this is maybe too political for the podcast, but it's kind of like politics in general.
Oh no.
Which during an election cycle, everyone's yelling at each other, and then they have to work together to make the city happen.
That's true.
And so it's like, oh, interesting. So if you want to make a politics themed game, maybe that's the way to do it.
And that's like the opposite of Ultimate Chicken Horse,
right?
Because you're
the
competing
end goal,
after,
right?
But
it starts out competitive and then moves to competitive or cooperative.
Ooh.
An inverse chicken horse, aka politics.
That's like, well, I don't know. I guess Betrayal on House on the Hill is sort of like you're sort of competing to get stuff, but then one person becomes evil and then everyone else works.
Probably one person becomes evil. Probably,
yeah,
because it could be something else where they don't become evil.
It's
completely.
It's a goofy turn into mice. Suddenly you're being chased by cats. It's a whole time.
It has nothing to do with the first part of the game.
Ananda has strong feelings about that. That can be on our other podcast, Rules and Rants.
Yeah.
We've been teasing that for 2 years.
The spin-off podcast. Someday, maybe, Rules and Rants. That was our a potential name that came up from when we were trying AI-generated names just to see. But we ended up going with Trevor's idea.
Which I love.
The tabletop.
I love that I beat the machine.
Yes.
Awesome. So, number 5 is from episode 66. I only say that because Order 66. If you know, you know. It's a Star Wars reference.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Wow. Deep cut.
Yeah, very deep cut. Specifically, what's it, episode 2, I think? 2 or 3. One of those two.
What?
Dutch Blitz.
Oh, Dutch Blitz.
So Dutch Blitz made its way onto my top 10 because the anxiety I felt during it was such a good feeling for a superhero-themed game where you feel like you're actively doing something that inspired me to make a couple iterations of my Heroes game into a real-time game.
Yeah, and I tried that version. That was the most fun version of it, too.
You played the most fun version, and I'm trying to get it into more of a Dutch Blitz format. Because I think there's something there still, but I just haven't. I've been working on this RPG now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good at creating the sense of urgency, and you're attempting to do these things. You have the personal puzzle and the center puzzle, which, like, even though it's a competitive game, Dutch Blitz, it kind of already had that intrinsic thing happening.
Yeah.
And so if I can convert it into a cooperative game, and then I don't know what you're racing against. So that's the only thing I don't have at the moment is kind of that antagonistic side for a cooperative real-time game. So that's the thing I still have to work on and design and develop. But, like, honestly, Dutch Blitz is just so good at creating the right feeling that I was hoping for. I was like, shoot, it's so perfect.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, my number 4 was chess. We already talked about that. So let's go to Charlie's number 4.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Ananda.
My number 4 is Dungeons and Dragons.
Whoa! I can't put D&D on top. I've been playing it since I was 11.
Sure. Okay. He knows everything there is to know.
I have no idea what's going on with it.
Well, and actually, it's because of something you did, Trevor.
Oh, cool.
It was such a cool moment when you turned it into like an A story and B story. And, like, one of us went off to do something else, and then we went... And I had never thought about that in an RPG where you could have
split the party.
Yeah.
Split the party.
Yeah. But, like, going back and forth.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a thing that RPG people do, but...
Yeah. Charlie says, let's always split the party.
Yeah.
Rule number 1, never split the party. Being able to jump between narratives is actually a really important part of a lot of RPGs, because if you just follow, like, everyone decides, okay, you are good at this, you should go do that. We're going to do this because we're good at that. It's like, okay, I guess...
Yeah.
What do I do for the next hour and a half while you resolve that story?
Yeah.
Do you then come back to me? Do you, like, make your way back to me? Like, And so back in the day, I wasn't very good at jumping between the different stories. It's actually by watching more actual plays and things like Critical Role and getting that example of like what that can look like and have it be more narrative is where I kind of got more inspiration for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone wants to split the party.
Very cinematic.
Oh, good.
But actually, well, now that you're talking about it, it's kind of funny because we do that all the time in other games. You take a turn, and then I take a turn, and then you take. But it feels
You don't see it in the same way, right?
No.
Yeah, because you're telling a story.
Yeah.
You don't want to keep pausing. Like, okay, you move towards the person you want to talk to. Okay, Ananda. Now, what do you do when you're in the tavern?
Yeah.
Like, I get a drink. Great, you get a drink. Okay, Charlie. It's like that
Yeah.
is.
That'd be bad.
I mean, they do it in not real life.
LARP?
No,
No.
novels.
novels.
Like stories.
Like books.
Yeah, like books. Yeah, they do that in books. Hopping between different points of view.
Yeah.
Right. The key
Yeah,
is to leave them on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And then they'll keep reading because they want to get back to story A.
I love it. What are those things called? We just this is our life now. We just play games. We don't do anything else.
No.
So yeah.
Oh, hey, it's
Number
my
4.
turn. Number 4. Mage Wars. So
Oh.
what I loved about Mage Wars was how it took this impossibly broad and deep system and made it so that it was as efficient as it could be. In terms of having simultaneously choosing cards, but you're going through all of your spells. Like, I was really intimidated when I first looked at it, but after getting into just a few rounds, I felt very comfortable with being able to make choices and decisions. I did not feel as overwhelmed as I thought I would, which means that the game can have a lot more complexity and a lot more going on. Now, obviously, there are other little things about Mage Wars that makes it harder to play maybe in today's gaming world. And I know they've revamped it so that you no longer have the different zones.
We're talking about the academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ordered that, and I was like, it's not exactly what I was hoping for. But
I really like the zone system.
I love the zone system.
I think zones are a brilliant way to divide up space.
Yeah, and then that they're unlimited capacity for different things.
Yeah, it's a great middle ground between this game being completely spaceless, like Magic the Gathering, and between having each unit takes up one square on the board and moves are very,
Which is Summoner Wars too.
Yeah, like Summoner Wars.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed how that they made it so that you could really have access to all these power, and then it's also a deck building game in the sense that it's a deck construction game.
Yeah,
So you can customize your deck.
Yeah, it's a constructed game.
Yeah, I think it's deck construction is the official.
Yeah.
It has to be separate from deck building because now,
Right.
of course, deck building has a very specific
Yeah.
meaning.
The whole deck thing, actually, that came up. One of our friends, David Leduc, has
Oh yeah.
spelling game remix, and he had the newest version. You use your whole. You have you split up the deck between players, and you have access to the whole thing, even though it's real time.
Right.
And I thought, ooh, that seems bad. Shouldn't you draw a hand from your mini deck? And then we played it, and it was actually pretty nice to have the whole deck. And
Not having as many constraints too, right? Because then it's like, oh, there's that. Got it.
Yeah, and it's not upkeep. So, anyways,
Yeah.
maybe that's kind of a cool thing to be able to actually access the whole deck in a real time game too.
Oh yeah. Man.
Yeah,
I mean, it depends on how many cards it is too.
yeah.
But also
They're just letter cards too.
Right,
It's not
right.
I
anything
mean,
crazy.
if it's a real-time game, then getting to the card you want is part of the cost of playing the
Right.
card,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I know I have an R in here somewhere, and you're just looking for the R instead of keeping yourself flexible. It's like, oh, that could be an R, a T, an S. Yeah. I really like the idea of having a full deck at your disposal. Real time does scare me for the full deck. But yeah,
Yeah.
at the very least, then you don't have downtime in between turns, and all those
Yeah.
other things are resolved.
Well, I think the really clever thing Mage Wars did there, which I actually sort of borrowed for Junkernauts, is that you have all these possibilities, but you resolve that simultaneously.
Yes.
So, you and your opponent find the two cards you're going to prepare at the same time, so there's no downtime. I did something similar with Junkernauts. There's a phase where you build your robots, but it happens simultaneously at the start of the round.
Okay.
To reduce the downtime, as opposed to building them as you go.
Oh, sure,
during
yeah,
the
yeah.
round.
And remind me, for moving units in Mage Wars,
Yeah.
are you limited to a number of units per turn?
You take turns moving one unit.
One unit, so
Yeah,
like
one
chess.
unit. Yeah, like chess, except that each unit can only activate once per round. So,
Right.
So actually, I also took that for Junkernauts.
Right, yeah.
And your mage also has a special quick cast, which is a little bit different than his normal activation. But,
Sure.
Yeah, each unit moves once per round, and you can move one unit at a time.
Perfect. Yeah, so
Yeah, this is funny. I think like the takeaway for listeners could be, if you want to be inspired and make more games, you should just make a podcast, and then you'll talk about games, play games. You'll be forced to play new games.
Join our Discord and just start talking about a game and see if people chime in.
Yes, exactly.
That works too.
Yeah.
Or don't join our Discord. Stay away from us. We want you there. It's great.
Awesome. All right, on to 3, I think.
Yeah.
My number 3 was Food Chain Magnate. So Charlie, on to your number 3.
My number 3 is Dream On. This was one we did recently.
Don't, no, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
It's an actual song. We don't have the rights for it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You didn't hear that.
I had lean on nothing.
Yep. So Dream On was one in our memory series, and my takeaway from it was that, unlike most of the time when you think of a memory game, it's like, I like the actual game Memory or Trio or our other one we did. You have to remember, like, oh, this card was here in this location. So, yeah, the basic memory.
Like Minesweeper, but with knowing where things are sometimes.
Yeah. But in Dream On, what you're doing is actually trying to make it easier to remember things by telling a story. And so the whole thing about it is like being creative with whether or not you can like make something easier to remember. So
yeah,
I thought that was the coolest. And since then, I've already bought 2 copies of Dream On because they were somehow, for some reason, they were like 75% off.
And that's what's hard is like it may not have gotten enough word out, or like I don't need another one of these. It's like, actually, this one's really good.
Yeah,
like
super cool.
Yeah.
Maybe our podcast will help people buy the
Okay,
game.
all you 25 people out there, make sure you go out and...
Yeah. I have no stake in that game, but I think it's cool.
Yeah.
So
for my last one, even though we're on number 3, I'm going to take away Ananda's top one.
Oh.
Within This World.
Oh.
Wait, that's my top one.
How did you know?
I looked.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
There's no way you didn't choose In This World. So
Okay,
I,
yeah,
I knew
that's
In This
true,
World
yeah.
would be on all 3 of ours.
I mean, honestly, literally all I wrote for this on my phone was, holy cow, what a system. Like, that was my takeaway. Holy cow, what a system.
My takeaway is such an amazing brainstorming system.
My takeaway is you can use In This World to create anything.
Yeah.
You can use it to create characters. Mm-hmm. You can use it to create magic systems. You can use it to create worlds, obviously.
Yeah.
You can use it to create magic items. You can use it to create spells. You can use it to create factions. I used it to create the different factions in Sprocket Forge.
Yeah.
You can use it to create games.
Create a whole game.
Yeah.
Or to make an expansion of a game or a variant of a game. Because we did it was the Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride.
But it was
in New York.
weird. It was like,
asymmetric powers in Ticket to Ride. What would that be?
Yeah.
And we did the whole In This World system to generate it.
It was pretty good.
It was crazy.
So, we've been talking it up, but if people haven't listened to the episode, or, we used In This World again to do our RPG series.
Yeah, it's the first one of the RPGs.
But the basic concept, which is so cool, is you put out, like, you decide on topic, first of all, like games or something, trees or whatever, and then put down as a group around 10 different
12,
characteristics that are common with those things, like
or
trees.
Or like stereotypes.
Yeah, stereotypes. Trees grow from the ground. And then as you play, each person gets to decide to flip one of those on its head. Like, trees don't grow from the ground. they come down from clouds or something. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Charlie, that completely changes your game.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can reinforce one of them.
Right, yeah.
But in which case you have to contextualize it in the world that you're creating.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think what is really interesting is that it really reinforces the use of creativity. And this is like when Eli pitched In This World to us to have for the podcast. I think he pitched it to us. So we were talking about it. And he's like, hey, you guys should do this. Like, oh, sure.
He pitched it and then he ran it.
And he ran it for us the first time. He said, I don't think he said it's not really a game. It's more of like a tool.
And you know what? It is.
It is.
It is. It's a tool. But it's a tool that's fun.
But it's very fun and
it's
creates
very useful.
stories.
Yeah.
And for our storytelling series, it did exactly what it was supposed to do.
Yeah. It is a tool that is extremely useful and is fun to use.
Yeah. And it's honestly not that hard to do.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't take like a big system or big like software or
Yeah.
like
Yeah, and unfortunately for the game designer, you don't really need to buy anything.
Well, and now we're talking about it, but that means that
But you can. Like,
You can support.
He's got
Yes.
he's got a PDF
Yes.
that you can
Yeah.
download.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
yeah, so
So,
go
yeah.
do that. Download the PDF.
I mean I did that.
So wait, does anyone have a... Well,
I have one
I am
left.
out now.
I have
but-
one left.
Okay. My number one has been preempted, but that's okay. That's
Yeah.
In This World. Okay. So I'm down to just one takeaway left. Charlie has one takeaway left.
The final takeaways.
And Trevor, you're out.
I'm out.
Okay. All right. So my number 2 and my final takeaway on my list is from Blood on the Clock Tower.
Oh yeah.
Oh, of
I
course
almost
you
did
would
Blood on the
put
Clock
on
Tower
there.
too.
Yeah.
And my takeaway is basically, in a social deduction game, you can use contingent information to encourage communication. And this, I think, is maybe the secret to good social deduction games. And to elaborate a bit on what I mean by this, which, we talked about back in social deduction, but that was a while ago. Contingent information means that you have information, but the usefulness and validity of it is of the facts that you know are dependent on the validity of other facts that other people know.
Right.
And the reason that this works so well, okay. So, like to give you an example, let's say I know. Let's say we're playing Blood in the Clock Tower, and I know that one of 3 players is evil because I have the Noble's ability. You learn 3 players, exactly one of them is evil. Okay. Well, that's useful information, but it becomes even more useful if somebody else tells me, hey, this player here, who's one of the 3, is evil. Because then not only do I know, okay, well, they're evil, I also know these other 2 players are good. So my information becomes more useful because of somebody else's information.
Assuming they're telling the truth.
Right. And that's that's why this works so well. Because if your information is dependent on other people's information, it becomes entangled.
Right.
And one thing that we talked about in the social deduction series is that a good social deduction game needs to walk a very, very fine line between information and trust. Players need information, but they also need reasons to trust or mistrust other players.
But both.
Yes.
Trust and mistrust.
Right. But you have to balance those 2 things.
Yeah.
And by entangling your information with other people, players can have tons of information, but it doesn't necessarily solve the game entirely, because it's also dependent on how much they trust the sources of the information that's enhancing their own. And what I did with this takeaway is it basically forms the basis for my game Legends of the Boatman, where each player is told 3 facts, one of which is a lie, or one of which is false, and 2 of which are true. And in order to figure out which one's which, they have to talk with other players. And this is very effective at getting people to talk with each other because they need more information to evaluate their own. And it creates a lot of really cool scope for deception and for plausible deniability, because if somebody else's information is wrong, it might not necessarily mean that they're lying, because there are other explanations for it. So my takeaway from Blood on the Clock Tower is, if you want a great social deduction game, give players contingent information that depends on other players' information. Don't give them abilities that say, okay, you use your power, you point at someone, and you find out if they're the werewolf. That is not a good contingent power. The powers all need to be phrased in such a way that your information requires more information from other people to make sense of. And I think that's that's what Blood on the Clock Tower does better than I think any other social deduction game, is just the design of the roles in a way that entangles all of the information together.
Yeah. Which makes it pretty hard the first time you play, but like the more you play, then, and I think what's cool that you sort of improved on in Legend of the Boatman, you don't really have a role necessarily that you have to remember, and you have to remember everyone else's role. It's like, oh no, I just have to find out which of these is true. And yeah, then as the game designer, you can throw in some really funny fake things, which I've played. We've played it a bunch on the retreats we do, and yeah, there's some good ones. Like you said that usually there's the evil team and the good team, and someone had a lie that was there's a pickle team, and we're like, what is the pickle team? I don't know. Are you on it? Oh, yeah.
I put that as two separate lies just to make sure it got
there. Yeah. Okay, so my number 2 is Visitor in Blackwood Grove. And I think we all thought that was a cool game that also came out of nowhere. I hadn't heard of it, but the coolest part of it, I think, is the fact that you're using... basically you're trying to test certain objects to see if they will... alien shield is up, and whether or not you can pass an object through the alien's shield is based on a certain thing that they have. But they're all kind of subjective, so it's like maybe the thing is, if it's warmer than room temperature, then it can pass through. And so people are testing these things.
Fish.
Ooh. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. But then, someone else has
fish.
Like a rabbit, which, it's warm-blooded. Yeah. It's going to be warmer. And then someone has something else, and it's like, yeah. So I've used that in a game that I wanted to try and see if I could make something more subjective definitions of things. And it's hard to do in a strategy game, but in a more like sort of word guessing game like Visitor, I think it worked. But yeah. So so we've done all our takeaways, our top 10s,
and now we're gonna do our takeaways of each other's takeaways.
Well, okay. I was thinking this might be fun. I didn't talk to you guys about it beforehand, but I have an overall takeaway.
Oh. From the tabletop
takeaway.
All right.
I mean, I don't know if it was...
So meta.
I don't know if it's directly from the podcast, but it's been something I've been thinking about a lot.
Yeah.
And it kind of came out through when I was looking at all these games and why I like them so much. And I think one of the major things that these games have is that they let you express your creativity.
Yeah.
So... thinking about Dream On and Visitor in Blackwood Grove and In This World and Dungeons & Dragons. Actually, almost this ones. It's the takeaway from my list. That's what this is. My
personal takeaway.
In This World, Ultimate Chicken Horse. You're creating like the thing. I guess chess. We're getting into the Galaxy Trucker. You're creating your own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the takeaway from my list. So if you guys have
my more meta tabletop takeaway is actually going to be the importance of talking about what makes games good. And what makes you enjoy games. And, like, actually sitting down and even, like, if you're talking to yourself, talking out loud, writing down ideas, just some way of having that exploration of the mechanics and, like, actually think about, well, why is that? And not just, like, I think deck building is cool. I'm going to make a deck building game and kind of copy this and see how it goes. But, like, look at deck building games like, well, I really enjoyed Dominion because of, you know, how the coins worked and then how the estates worked and how, you know, you're kind of trying to balance that action. Oh, and then you also have action cards. So what does that conversation look like in the game? And then kind of figure out your own way forward, understanding that. Like, actually kind of studying and analyzing and then also being creative.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Just always be creative.
It's a good takeaway.
Probably my most succinct, the first part at least, of my takeaways. As I was listening to something like, Trevor, you didn't actually say a takeaway. You just said like a paragraph and a half of words. All right.
I guess my takeaway, I don't know, I guess, well, one takeaway is that the most important thing when designing a game is how the players feel.
Yeah.
And what I guess what I mean by that is balance doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
What matters is how people feel about the balance of the game.
Do they feel treated unfairly
Yes.
because of the balance?
Right.
Okay.
A game can be very unbalanced and still be a ton of fun.
And in fact, it can often be more fun if it's
Yeah.
unbalanced.
I'm not much of a fan of Take That games, but
Sure.
the way that the Take That is framed makes a huge difference in how people feel. Mm-hmm. Even if objectively it's not that different. Framing is really important. Mm-hmm. How you present the game to people will affect how they respond to it, even if the mechanics are no different than a slightly different framing of things. And of course, as we've talked about, the effort in playing a game will also make a huge difference in how people feel about it, even if it doesn't actually affect the choices they're making. Mm-hmm. Just the fact that the game is hard to play, like it requires a lot of math, or you have to move a lot of pieces around, or the rules are difficult to understand.
Well, just this is making me think too, like there's a lot of factors outside of our control as game designers that make people feel differently. Like, what's the day like for that person? What's the group that's playing? Did they have buy-in when they started playing the game or not? And so you can think about that when you're playtesting with people too. Like, don't just think your game is horrible because people didn't like it that one time. Some people only will like a game if it looks like it's fully published and polished, and then they just don't understand. Like, so yeah.
Oh, you should get some good art for this. Sure. Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah. Yep.
Why aren't you selling this game? That's not really feedback.
That's a good question to get, though.
I appreciate the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we made it, guys. 100
Episode 100.
episodes.
100 episodes.
Yes. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have hundreds more.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
Hundreds, plural. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see you next time. Talk to you next. Talk to you guys.
Talk
next
to
time.
you guys next time.
All right. Hey, thanks for listening to The Tabletop Takeaway. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. So please tell your friends and visit our website at thetabletoptakeaway.com, where you can suggest games and mechanics for us to cover next on the show.